Hey artists, welcome to my channel. This is our first tutorial. It's going to be about 15 minutes. It's going to be a short how to draw Charizard. Thanks for coming. Check it out. Okay, so for this drawing I'm going to be using Photoshop and a Wacom tablet. If you don't have one, you can use pencil and paper. You can use a marker, pen, whatever you want. The principles are exactly the same. Now this isn't going to be a Photoshop demonstration, so I'm not going to go through exactly how I'm doing what I'm doing in detail. But the first thing you want to do, if you are using Photoshop, is you want to create a new layer. And then we're going to get started and we're going to draw his body first, because it's the biggest part of the character. So we're just going to make a big circle. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to keep this simple. Big circle for the body. And then we're going to use a little bit of what's called perspective. Now, perspective is when something looks closer to you than it is further. So like if you're driving in a car with your parents and you look down the street and you'll see telephone poles or electric lines, some will look further away and some will look closer to you, right? Well, the ones that look closer look bigger, and the ones that look further look smaller, even though they're the same size. So this is perspective. So Charizard's body, I'm going to make this draw a little line here so you can kind of get some idea that this is a ball. Okay, so if this was a ball, it kind of look like this. So his body is a sphere. Now his legs are going to be under his tummy, and they're going to stick out here. So we're going to roughly draw about the same size shape legs here, and then one over here right below his waist. That's what that line in the middle is. Oops. This one we're going to stick it back a little bit further than the other one. But basically they're just two circles. Okay, so if you were going to draw through the figure, you would just see these circles here. And then for his tail, because it's behind his body because of perspective, what we're going to do is we're going to have it go behind the legs, and then it's going to stick out a little bit right here, and then actually it's going to come in front of his foot. Okay, so it's going to get a little bit bigger as it goes back, and then we want to connect it to his body, but see, it's behind this leg here. And that's going to give us the idea that it's behind there, and then this part is in front of the leg, so it looks like it's in front. And that's perspective. Okay, now let's go ahead and do the feet. So Charizard has 4 toes, 3 in the front and 1 claw in the back. So I'm going to start on this leg over here, the left leg, and we want to, because he's a lizard, his feet sort of fold under himself, and we want his toes to stick out further than his knee, which is right here. There's his knees. Okay, and we want the toes to stick out so that it looks like he can actually support himself. So we're going to go out here, and I'm just going to draw his claw back there. And we're going to round out this foot. Okay, so that looks like it's flat on the ground. And then we're going to draw his toes. So I'm just going to draw claws. So 1 toe, 2 toe, 3 toe. Now over here we're going to do the same thing, but this foot we're going to look at it from the front, so you might not see as much of it as you would this foot. So we're going to draw the flat part of his foot here, and as you can see they're sort of on the same line, because we want Charizard to look like he's standing tall. That's also where his shadow would be if it was a light source. We're not going to worry about that right now. So we just got his foot. Now we're going to draw his toes coming in the front, but we're going to make it look like it's coming at you. So one's going to be this way, 2 are going to be going out to the side. So this one is going to be out to the side. This one is going to be front on, so it's going to look a little bit different, and then we can draw that toe. And then this one right here is going to be going to the other direction. There you go. Okay? So now he's starting to come together, and it looks like his tail is coming around the front. Okay? I'm going to go a little bit darker around these edges. There's that outline. Okay, now his belly comes in front of his legs, and his tail is connected to his belly, so that's going to be in front of the feet, remember? If we outline this leg a little bit darker, fold that. And then that's his claw back there. Okay. I'm going to make another layer real quick. And this is going to be where his flame is on his tail. So you can just draw that right on top of the drawing. And fire is sort of wild. And so I'm just going to make it look wavy. And if it goes off the paper, that's okay. I'll put a couple of little pieces of fire here. And see if the fire looks like it's in front of his stomach. So that's more perspective. And you can be a little more cartoony on this. It doesn't have to look like real fire, guys. Okay, it's a cartoon. So I'm just going to make this little flame shape. Looks like a leaf a little bit. And then we want the center of the tail of fire to be yellow. And then the interior will be red. And the outside will be orange. So I'm going to do 3 shapes here. So we got this red, bright red area, this yellow area, and then the orange area. Okay? And we'll get to that when we color it. And then another little detail I'm going to put in right here on the tail, because it's bending backwards, is I'm going to draw a little crease right here. Now these little creases are going to make Charizard's tail look like it's bending, because he's a lizard, and lizards have big, thick tails. Okay? And then we can do a detail here on the claws. If we round this out, we can separate the claw from the foot, and then you can add a little bit of extra roundness here for the toes. So like this over here too. Claw, toe, claw, toe, claw, toe. I'm actually going to erase this right here, and you can feel free to erase. Okay, I'm going to combine these layers too, because I did those on several layers. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and save. Okay, we're doing good here. Now let's go up here. Now let's do the arms. So his body comes up, and his arms are back because he's angry. And then this arm, I'm actually not going to worry about it, because his neck, which starts about right here, is going to wrap all the way around into the front. Let's go ahead and do that, actually, since it's bigger. Because his head is right in front of his body, about right here. So we're going to draw a big squared head. And then in front of that, we're going to draw his big mouth open. These are his nostrils. Mouth is open, so we can see the underside of his mouth and the bottom side of his mouth, where his teeth are going to be. So I'm going to open that like that. Okay? Now his lip goes here. And he's got nostrils. And then down here, I'm going to draw the edge of his lips. And then his mouth has lips here. That's going to give it some depth to make it look three-dimensional in his jaw. And I'm just going to really trace this same design again. Okay. Now his eyeball is right here, and he's kind of mad because he's roaring. So I'm just going to draw a triangle shape for his eye. And his pupil right there. Alright. Okay, now Charizard has two horns. So one is here, and it's in the back of his head, so we're not going to be able to see all of it. And the other one's going to be about right here. Okay. And then what we want to do is, now we're going to go a little darker. I made my brush a little bit bigger. And we're going to draw the outline of this neck. It's going to go all the way around. And then if you want, you can put a couple little lines in here. These are creases in his skin. We want to make them curved because his neck is round. So if I come in here and I erase this body right here, you'll be able to see he'll start to take shape. Now it's okay to erase. Okay, there's no such thing as not being able to erase. That's how you learn. So don't be afraid to erase. Don't be afraid to start over. It's okay to draw in pencil. And if you're using marker or Photoshop, you know, Photoshop's great because you can undo, which is pretty cool. Okay, it's looking better, even though we did a really light cleanup, which is another benefit of Photoshop, is you can do cleanup really easy. As you can see though, I've removed some of these lines. Now we've got Charizard in perspective. Okay. Okay, so now let's do his arms. There's going to be one right here, coming out to the side. We're going to use another circle because his body, you know, his arms are round. There's going to be one over here too. We can't really see it. It would be about right here. And then we'll just draw it there. But see guys, we don't want to show that part because it's behind his neck. It's behind him. So we're going to erase that. And just draw out right here. And we draw 3 claws. That finger is behind this one. Do you see that? Then over here we're going to do the same thing. 3 claws. I'm going to put one down here. That's his thumb. And then 2 right here. Go back over here real quick. Anytime we round out around a claw, we make it look like there's more toe or finger there. Looks bigger, right? Okay, so now his tail wraps around, and I'm going to draw the under part of his belly right here on the tail, and that connects right up here, and his stomach is big and yellow. And I'm just going to draw 1, 2 behind the head, 3, and then one more right there, 4. Those are the lines on his belly, and then a little bit up there because it goes up to his neck. Okay. Actually, we don't need that part. Let's delete it. Sometimes stuff looks a little too messy. We can just get rid of it. Okay. Especially like that right there. Maybe if we remove that, it actually looks better. It looks like a cleaner image. Okay, that looks good. Now let's do his wings. So his wings are going to be right here, and there's going to be triangles. A little claw, and then come down. And let's do 1, 2, 3. And then over here, this wing is behind his neck and his body, right? So let's do, it's going to come out, and then it's going to stick out behind it. Claw, 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to add an edge. And then a little line here. Okay, that looks good. Okay, now let's add the fun part. Let's do the teeth. So, his teeth are going to be in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to erase a little bit of this. Okay, so if you have a pencil, that'd be a good place to erase. He's got 2 big teeth, his fangs. Right under the nostrils, and then down here he's got 2 big fangs coming up from his lips. Now traditionally Charizard, that's about all he has in the cartoon, you know, and the Pokemon cards. But I'm going to draw a little bit more to give him a little bit more detail. We're going to put some little teeth in here, and he's got gums, so that's what his teeth attach to. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's do teeth right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to do another row right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now his tongue is shooting out of his mouth. So it's going to be right here, behind his teeth, and it's just going to come out like this. Go back in here and give him a little bit more of a lip. You can just fill this in here. I'm going to leave a little bit of space over there. It's going to be darker under his tongue. Make this a little bit bigger right here. Alright, well, there we go. We're done with part 1. We drew Charizard. Stay tuned for part 2, and we're going to add some details, clean it up, and then add some color. Thanks for watching.